Hi there, welcome to another STAEDTLER art session with Riaan. In today's session, we will be drawing a girl using STAEDTLER's mechanical pencils. If you have any questions, please use the chat box below or send me an email.
Today's tutorial is all about shading with STAEDTLER's mechanical pencil. Riaan has prepared the drawing beforehand. If you struggle drawing faces, please have a look at session 10 where Riaan explains drawing the human head in more detail. Let's start with the eyes. Keep the shading at the top of the iris darker. Leave the bright highlight pure white. To shade the white of the eyes, you will need to approach the shading like you would with a sphere. Light on one side and darker where there is less light. Remember, the thickness of the top eyelid will also cast a shadow on the eye. Very lightly shade the darker area in the face. Keep light areas as light as possible. The shading method is all up to you. Riaan is using a fine hatching method where he keeps the lines fine and close to each other with varying pressure to create light and dark areas. Riaan uses the paper under his drawing hand to protect the drawing from smearing and also to shape the tip of the pencil lead, either to blunt, sharpen or create a chiseled edge on the tip of the lead. When drawing lips, remember to keep the upper lip darker than the lower one. This is due to the light coming from the top, and if you make any mistakes, you can simply use STAEDTLER's kneadable eraser. Slowly start to build up the values by going back over your drawing and gradually making the shadow areas darker. Make sure to make the transitions smooth on rounded shapes like the cheeks. You will see that Riaan now draws in the opposite direction to make the shading smoother. Drawing the hat will be slightly easier with more flat areas. Look closely at your reference drawing to find those subtle shadings within the shades. When you need to apply light pressure, move your grip towards the middle or the back of the pencil. The weight of the pencil will be enough to create marks on the paper. Use varying directions to create smooth shading. Here Riaan changed his angles 3 or more times to smooth out the hatched lines. Never start drawing individual hairs, but rather approach hair as solid forms. Shade the biggest areas first and then break those up into smaller shapes by adding more shading and finer shapes after that. This way you create more realistic looking hair. Drawing her clothes is very similar to drawing her hat. Look at the planes of the fabric and how the light affects each area. Lots of varied values are within the dark areas. A shadow area might have more than just 1 or 2 levels. Hands are notoriously difficult to draw. If you struggle with them and you fear that it might ruin your picture, don't be afraid to draw them on a separate piece of paper first to get to grips with the shading. It might feel like a waste of time, but it will save you from discarding your ruined picture and starting all over. Go over the whole picture and deepen some of the shadows that are too light. You can also use your kneadable eraser to lighten up areas with bright highlights. We hope that you've enjoyed this session. Please share your art with us on all our social media platforms. We would love to see what you have created with your STAEDTLER mechanical pencil. We'll see you in the next session.